Okay, how is a body CT like a potato chip? I bet you can't eat just one. I bet you can't stop with just one. That comes from this Lay's potato chips commercial. And they make it taste great because they got tons of salt, tons of oil, it's fried, tons of fat, MSG. I don't know for sure if they put MSG in. I'll just bet they do because it's in almost all processed foods. Anyways, and the point of it with the body CT means a CAT scan of the chest, abdomen, and pelvis. It's the most common reason for doing a CAT scan. And the reason it's a joke, these are radiology jokes, is because there's almost always an incidentaloma that requires a follow-up. In fact, the doctor, nurse practitioner, whoever orders the CAT scan expects to get a follow-up. And there's some other versions of this joke. The more common version of this, I just made this one up yesterday about how's a potato chip, like a body CT. Sort of the old version of it is, what's the definition of a healthy person? Someone who hasn't had a body CT yet. Okay. The other version of it is, how is a body CT like Hotel California? You can check out for the weekend, but you can never leave. Hotel California. Okay. And I thought this was funny. This is a more honest version of potato chips. And the joke of it is, all processed food, in my opinion, is bad. I mean, the point of processed food is to maximize shelf life because the company loses money if mold grows in the food and it gets returned to the producer. So what they do is they put tons of preservatives in there to prevent mold from growing. Well, mold is a fungus, okay? So that means they put antifungals in there in large amounts. And guess what? Fungal inhibitors are mitochondrial inhibitors quite often. So you're eating something that inhibits your ability to produce energy, and it's bad for your body, bad for your brain. That's not good. It also typically includes MSG, a flavorant, which is an excitotoxin, which contributes to potentially causing brain damage. As I give, look at the double screw job there. You have an MSG excitotoxin, that's another word for stimulant, while you're simultaneously, so it increases the energy demand of a neuron, while you're simultaneously eating a fungal inhibitor, which decreases your ability to produce ATP, and it's high fat, which decreases oxygenation of the tissue. And people quite often will eat that with soda pop, caffeine, which is also likewise a vasoconstrictor, dropping blood supply to the brain, and a stimulant from the caffeine, increasing the metabolic rate of the neuron. And it's a high-fat meal, which is going to further drop oxygen delivery to the brain. Okay, about 15 to 20%. So you see with the screw job, you're pushing your neurons towards going into apoptosis and dying. It's just all adding up. All right. So, anyways, you can check out, but you can never leave, meaning that you can get stuck in these follow-ups routinely for a couple of years, and sometimes for 5 years. I've seen people followed up for benign kidney cysts for 5 years. Okay, I've been in the radiology business a long time, about 30 something years, okay? And I've seen people get followed up for incredible amounts of time. Okay, what else? What are the typical things? Lung base, subpleural micronodule, from when you were a kid. Low density lesion in the kidneys or the liver. They're almost always a cyst. I mean, you can tell when they're mets. They don't look like cysts, okay? And the patient has a history of a primary malignancy. Low density lesions in the head of the pancreas are almost always an IPMT. Adrenal nodules, spine or iliac bone sclerotic lesions are usually incidental benign bone islands. Splenic lesion, usually it's a benign cyst. Mesenteric adenopathy, usually something like mesenteric adenitis, sclerosing mesenteritis, paniculitis, all that stuff. Aortic ectasia or aneurysm, usually they're real small and, you barely would need to follow them, but by protocol, we tend to do it. Doctors figuring, the radiologist is figuring he's going to read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these scans. He can't afford to miss 1% of cancer. So they're always going to follow it tight, meaning that it's going to get followed. Okay, so what I'm trying to say from a patient's point of view, if I've got 99% odds, I usually... Well, anyways, we're not going to get into all that follow-up stuff. Now's not the time for it. I just wanted to make the point for this joke. Trust me, anybody in medicine, they'll get these jokes immediately. All right, and like I said, I thought this was sort of the honest advertisement. I mean, what's the purpose of processed food? It's to make money off you, to make money for the company, and I believe the purpose of processed food is to sterilize people. Come on. Okay, where does the protein come from in most processed foods? It comes from soy, okay, which, decreases your ability to reproduce, okay? And where does the sugar come from? High fructose corn syrup, sprayed with atrazine. Okay, soy is super estrogenic, and the old papers show that it's harmful to the male sperm production, it's harmful to the female reproductive system. Okay, and it's goitrogenic too. Great, another thing to lower your energy. So these processed foods, they don't only lower your energy, they also help to work towards sterilizing you.